All right, so that's the second part of configuring development environment on Linux. And in the previous episode or video, we installed the Linux on this machine, and I have shown you a quick overview of the graphical interface. Now we are going to configure it and fix that resolution issue that you can see at the moment on your screen. So let me quickly go and press the Alt Control Del and type the password. So you can see the machine resolution is not optimal. The very first we're gonna do, we're gonna install the guest edition. So you can see with the Oracle VirtualBox, you have the guest edition that you can install, and it will fix a couple of things. So I'm gonna insert the guest edition image in the drive. And now if I can show you in here, see, as soon as it has mounted the drive, it already detect that it has the auto run. So it's showing you the execution file that if you want, you can run it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run it, and then it will ask me my password. I'm gonna type my password and keep an eye. Sometimes this guest edition failed due to some dependencies. So if you see that error, we need to fix it, and it will then adjust the guest operating system in terms of resolution and in terms of other drivers as well. So you can see that we have some problem here. The system is currently not set up to build kernel module. Please install the GCC. And I like, if you remember in the first video, I mentioned what we're going to do. We're gonna have C installed by default on this machine, but now it is complaining that it didn't find the GCC, which is the C compiler that used to compile C file. But what it is looking for the compiler for Perl packages. So we're gonna fix this issue, and then will reinstall it. So that's what I was mentioning. Sometime you will find out it's not gonna be successful. So make sure you have a close eye, and if you see any errors, fix it and rerun, and it will fix the resolution issue. So let me quickly go and let me find out the fix, and I'll apply the fix to fix that GCC make file packages. Bear with me. I close this window, and I'm going to now, so you can see why I'm keeping this area empty, because what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring the terminal. Keep in mind, we're going to use terminal a lot. So I'm going to put it on my favorite, because then I don't need to every time come to all the programs and use it. So I can close it and I can run it. And keep in mind, terminal is one of the most used, I would say, tool on Linux, because most of the time, being the text or geeks, we don't like to use graphical user interface. Command lines is more secure and more powerful, and I'll show you in some example where we can clearly see the power of command over the GUI. And you will find, as soon as you move and you gain experience in this field, that sometime things which you are doing with the commands are more easy and more secure and more stable compared to GUI through the GUI. So let me come in here, and let me first update the repo, because all the packages in Linux, we can update them through the apt-get. So it is updating all the repos. If you'd like to know more about the Linux, I'm gonna publish a course on Bash because I love to use Bash, especially from the integration perspective and management perspective. We're gonna see a lot, especially once we work with the cloud CLIs or cloud APIs. That command line is really shine there compared to the other I would say packages or APIs. But right now we are just fixing this error. So let me quickly go apt-get install build essential, and you can type some part of the command and type it, and it will bring the rest of the command for you if the command is long, and it will also validate whatever you are typing is correct or not. So all good. It's gonna ask me my username of not password, not at this stage, I believe. Yeah, it's not. It's just asking me that is it going to install 31.5 MB of archive. So is it all good? Yeah, I'm all good with all the space. So let it run and hopefully it won't. So you can see now the speed of the machine is better because I have closed a lot of other processes on the host machine. So that's another tip. If you're seeing the machine is running slow, make sure your host operating system is not overloaded. And normally what I do, I normally keep my host operating system clean because I don't want to install anything. In that way, I can manage the resources on the virtual environments. If I want to do anything from the dev perspective or testing perspective, I can separate them into different virtual machine and spin the machine which I need for one particular experiment over the other. So in that way, it's easy to keep things manageable and clean. So now it has been installed. All I need to do, reboot my machine to effect the changes, and reboot is a command. Now you can see the virtual machine is rebooting, and hopefully now it will allow me to install. You can see we still have issue with the screen resolution. I'm still waiting for it to be put on. Won't be long. I believe for somehow my disk is pretty slow. For somehow, well, I let it run. Let me quickly see if I can, because I have so much on this machine. In terms of the storage is now really low. I think I need to do some cleanup on the storage. But hopefully once I think it's configuring behind the scene, and it's uh, installing things or configuring. So hopefully as soon as that's finished, we're gonna see. Okay, that's reasonable, but I still need to look at why the OS guest OS is taking so long to load. It shouldn't happen because I have allocated reasonable memory and CPU cores, so it should be pretty fast compared to taking 2-3 minutes. Anyway, we'll come back and we'll spin up again. And there are I'm gonna use the graphical interface. So now you can see as soon as you go to the virtual drive, and which has the ISO file mounted. You can see an option in here which is asking you to run this software, and it's more like close to how we install software through Windows. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to provide my password. By the way, we have a similar thing to install it through command line as well. So, and it is through the bash script, you can run it. So everything you are doing through the graphical interface, there's an alternate way available through bash, that which is actually the shell or command line of Linux. And on Windows, we have the similar as PowerShell. We're going to have different video series on both, because both are very powerful, especially while we are working with the cloud technologies. They're going to keep our life pretty easy and manageable in terms of handling those resources, especially once we have more and more assets into cloud, and especially if we have hybrid clouds. Then it is good to have good strong knowledge of command line, so you can build the automation through script, which is more manageable and I would say more smart way to do things. So now you can see this time it didn't give me any error, and it is asking me that the things will not in fact until unless we reboot. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna press enter, and it will reboot this machine. And if it doesn't, we're gonna do it by ourselves. We're gonna restart. Let's wait for the guest OS to spin up. And hopefully this time, if you look into it, let's say it's doing all with, ignore this warning. For somehow my disk, the host disk is heavily used. For some reason, I need to check. Although I've closed a lot of processes, but for somehow it's still in use. Hopefully it won't take much time compared to last time. So this time things are going better. I can see, yeah. Perfect. Much better. I still need to what I believe it should not take that long to bring the machine up, because I have allocated almost 8 gig and 3 cores. But I will check that if later I'm going to allocate more memory to see whether it has fixed or it's still the disk allocation. So I think that now the disk is back to normal. So I think initially it was configuring the additions, guest addition on the guest operating system. Now, if now expand, you can see that resolution issue has fixed, and even I can now go and I can spin it on full screen. And there you go. We have the nice full screen resolution guest operating system based on Linux in front of us. And now we are going to install all the applications which we need to work on this machine. So keep in mind, we're gonna use this machine. So what I'm going to do first, let me show it to you. I'm gonna shut down and I'm gonna actually clone this machine, because what I'll do, I'll call it as my base machine, and that's the beauty of the Oracle VirtualBox. Like you can set up the virtual machine once, and then you can use it as a template. So template means you can actually clone it multiple times, and then you can install different environments. So it will save all your effort. So now if I need to rebuild the machine, I don't need to go and install everything there. And it will also be considered as a restore point for my total activity, which is pretty cool in terms of saving the energy and saving the work for future activities. So I'm going to do, and I'll close this video on this, and in the next video we will start installing different softwares. So I'll power off. My machine is all good and ready to go. Excellent. If I come in here, so you can see that that's my machine. What I can do, let me just put -B, and B stands for base. It will remind me that that's the base snapshot which I have actually built. I'm not going to use it for any work, because it will be used as a template. So I'm going to, so if you come in here and you can see the second option, clone, I'm going to create it as a clone, and I'm going to call it now, that's my dev machine, dev01, right? Because I'm going to spin up multiple dev machines. So I will call it dev. And again, I'm going to set it up on I'm going to set up my dev machine in here. And one more thing, just to keep things clear, I'm going to generate the new MAC address for all the network adapters. So there's no conflict in terms of NIC or network interfaces on my guest operating system. I'm not going to keep the disk name. I'll initiate everything as a new. So everything is clean and nice and makes sense once we have the machine cloned and available. So hit the clone button, start doing the cloning process. Hopefully it won't take long, but still, to avoid any delay in the video, I'm gonna pause the recording and come back once the cloning process has finished. All right, we are back, and now you can see I have the clone virtual machine based on this template that I have built. So just as a final confirmation, I'm gonna run this machine to just show you. It is exactly same as our main template. And then now, while it is loading, we have the opportunity that we can build as many dev environment based on that virtual machine in really less time. So which is also a feature of building something in the cloud. So you can get the similar taste, especially through the virtualization software while you are working with them before you move completely towards the cloud. Because in cloud, tell you the truth, you're gonna follow the same pattern. The only main difference is the virtual machines are not managed by you. Like you are not keeping the host machine. You are just keeping the virtual machines, and you have control on the virtual machine. And obviously, you are not in the data centers until unless you are working for Microsoft or AWS, or you have authorized access to go in. Otherwise, you're gonna interact through the interfaces, and that's why I'm iterating a lot to have experience through the PowerShell or Bash, because these are the tools that you can use to manage any kind of any kind of cloud environment. So the machine is spinning up, and we'll just wait. Sorry, yeah. And you can see there are a couple of indicators. I can see svc underscore admin underscore account is there. If I come in, or you can see, or you can verify the resolution issue is fixed, and The machine is clean, nothing is installed on the machine at the moment. Pretty clean and nice machine that we can use. One more thing. Come in here, settings. You can see the device name 6CBD LNX-UX01. We'll see that if we can change in the next way. I'm not going to touch it. You can see the allocation of the resources that are given to it. It's all intact. Nothing has been changed. The disk capacity, OS operating system, everything is there. And just to let you know, you can get the similar information from command terminal or command prompt as well. I'll say command prompt because I have used command prompt a lot while I was working with Windows 98 or the earlier version of Windows. So that's why the term is on the tongue, but you can ignore it. We have terminal and we can get the similar information through terminal, but I'll park it for the other videos. Right, so that's pretty much it for this video as well. We have now installed and basic configuration of our Linux dev environment. In next video, we're going to install Python stack through Anaconda, and I'll show you how you can do it easily, and then we'll run some tests. And then from there, we're going to actually start our machine learning journey and data analytics journey using Python. This series will run in parallel to the other series, which is based on the SQL. I would still encourage using SQL for a lot of data wrangling activities or data preparation activities. And then once your data is prepared, you can feed it to Python through the built-in libraries and then run the machine learning algorithm. But there's another side of SQL where you can build your own machine learning model within SQL, so you don't need to install Python on your production machine. But these are all the future learning. I'll park it for future. So if you like, obviously I request to subscribe the channel, like the video, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.